As we head into the bathroom, you'll make sure you have your disinfectant bucket with 1/3 of water and a little of that green concentrate disinfectant squirted in, as well as all the other supplies that you see here. When you start the bathroom, the first thing you want to do is put on your gloves. Next, you want to grab your trash and your rugs and get them out of the way. Do your high dusting and touch point disinfection. And lastly, remove any excessive hair before you begin cleaning. To clean as efficiently as possible, you'll always want to clean the bathroom in the same manner. Typically, we work from high to low, and we start with the high dusting and touch points. Then we do the mirrors, the vanity, tubs and showers, and we clean the toilets and floor last. As we wrap up the room, we will stage by folding the towels and straightening things and double checking our work. So I'm going to put on my gloves, and I keep my gloves in my top left apron pocket. I keep cleaning cloths down here, glass cloths over here, my phone right here, and I put trash and debris that I pick up around the house in the last pocket. So it is OSHA regulation that you do wear gloves while you're cleaning with chemicals, so you want to keep that in mind and do that in all areas of the home. I've got my bucket with just a little bit of the green disinfectant literally dripped into 1/3 of a bucket at the most, usually 1/4 of a bucket. I'm gonna grab my disinfectant water on my cloth, wring it out really good, and I'm gonna disinfect my touch points, which is my door handles, switches, and any touch points where people might grab as they walk by. So. If it's a maintenance clean, you don't have to do up here every time, but on a deep clean you do. I'm going to turn it to a clean side. So if it's a regular client, this is very quick. Do the door handle. If it's a deep clean client, we're going to spend a little more time on that. When I'm doing my touch points, I'm also going to grab the rugs. In this case, these can be vacuumed. So I'm going to fold them to the middle so that I don't drop hair and stuff on the floor. I'm going to walk around to the bedroom, and I'm going to lay them out on the floor, just like you saw them a second ago. And that's so that the vacuuming person can vacuum them off. If they can't be vacuumed, then I would just shake them lightly, roll them, and I would put them against the wall so that nobody's going to trip on them. And then I will put them out at the end. At the beginning, when we're getting our rugs, we're also going to empty our trash. You'll take a trash liner and take it from bathroom to bathroom. We will try to find the client's trash liner, but if you don't have one and they're using a liner, use ours. And if they're not, make sure it's wiped out thoroughly. As I begin cleaning the bathroom, I'm going to do this vanity first. And I'm going to start with the mirror because we've never been here before. So there's a lot of work to do on the mirror, which is going to kick a lot of dust down onto the vanity. So I don't want to clean it first. However, we know that as we clean the sink, we'll splash a little bit of water onto the mirror, so we'll touch it up as we go. This is for light cleaning, and it's absolutely excellent for light cleaning, but you also have a Huck towel, and this is like a surgery towel, and so these have a little bit more fiber, and they're better at loosening up some heavier grime, so you always have that available to you. And then you also have your orange microfibers, which the orange microfiber is actually not great at just getting off a couple fingerprints because it might have just a little bit of lint in it. But for really heavy cleaning like you see here, this is gonna be great. So I'm just doing a portion of the mirror just to show you. Do you know why this is working better on a heavy clean than this? The reason is because there's all these little fibers here for the dirt to go into. Well, this is flat. This has a different purpose. So sometimes when I'm done, I'll look at different angles and I'll see that slightly smeared, and that's when I'll do my finished work. Again, with a regular maintenance clean, it wouldn't be this dirty generally, and so you wouldn't be doing this much work. So as we're talking about mirrors, I do want to point out that if a homeowner has one of these cosmetic mirrors, we do clean it both sides as well as the base. Most commonly missed area on the mirror is right down here against the bottom. So you always want to check that. And this side mirror is often forgotten. When we're doing a deep clean or a move out clean, like when somebody doesn't live there, it's common to see people forget to open this and clean inside. So if the house was empty and the cupboards were cleaned out, we would also clean in there. When we're cleaning a vanity, generally speaking, we're going to use our peroxide cleaner and one of these, either a magic eraser or a no scratch blue scrubby. clean the inside of the sink. And we're going to always have one of these in our apron. If it's a dirtier clean where we're going to need to remove a little bit more buildup, maybe it's a first time clean, often we're going to use our Barkeeper's Friend and our No Scratch Blue Scrubby. We are always going to have one wet cloth and one dry cloth, and extras in our apron, including glass cloths. When we start, we're always going to start with the countertop first and then the sink. The reason for that is because as we clean the sinks, and then if we clean the counter second, we're going to have stuff fall into the sink again and be turning on the water and rinsing it again. That's going to waste time. When I'm cleaning the vanity, I am cleaning the people's stuff. So I am going to take the toothbrushes out and clean the toothbrush holder. I'm going to clean their soap dispensers. I'm going to wipe the base of this toothbrush holder, and also right here, just around the middle, and like the handle. I'm not going to wipe the top part where I'm not going to wipe these at all, but this base I will wipe. If they have a tub with a lot of stuff in it, I'm not cleaning that out. If they have a tray, like a makeup tray with a couple things on it, we're going to take them off and wipe it. So in this case, I'm just going to move these out of my way, and I'll clean them as I'm putting them back. When I start the vanity, I'm going to clean the backsplash, top of the backsplash, side of it. I'm going to clean the corner really well. I have my dry cloth because there's going to be little hairs and fuzzy things, and I want to make sure that I'm drying as I go. Get my magic eraser. It's wet, it's wrung out. Just putting just a little bit of peroxide cleaner on there. It doesn't take much. Sometimes the magic erasers will break, so make sure that you grab the pieces and don't let them go down the drain. At the bottom of the drain, you're going to make sure to use the grout brush, as well as up here. Sometimes, I'm putting that back in my apron, sometimes the little drain cover will start to get some buildup on it. Generally speaking, a magic eraser or your blue scrub sponge is going to get some of that off, but if it's a first time clean or a deep clean, and you want to get that white buildup down there off, you're going to have to get your stainless steel pad out of your deep clean bag and clean that off. Now, I want to make a note here, this is very important. This particular kind of faucet is called brushed nickel. You see the lines in it? If you can focus in on there, you see the lines going across like that. This kind of faucet will actually dull very easily, so I wouldn't use a magic eraser on this. I would just use a cloth, and on the in-between, I'll just use my cloth in here to dry it out. I did use my grout brush, that's totally fine, but these scratch and dull really easily. So I've already completely cleaned the sink out. I'm actually wiping it out because there's a lot of pets in this house, and so the only way I can ensure that I'm not going to have any hair there is I'm going to dry it as I go. So as I wrap up this side of the sink, I'm going to wipe just the collar right here and here where it gathers dust. I'm not going to wipe the rest of it unless it's yucky looking. Put it back how I found it. I would prefer to put it here, but the homeowner had it like that, so it still looks fine. And wipe the top collar of the soap dispenser, and in this case it's kind of dirty, so I'll wipe the whole thing and put that back. Put this back right here, and this nickel faucet, we're really going to want to wipe right here, and the underneath side. Make sure that when you're cleaning that you clean underneath. This didn't look too good until I just kind of buffed it out. Now it looks nice. Again, after I did that, I dropped more hairs into the sink, so I'm going to, again, wipe it off the side of the counter and go to the next side of the sink. Okay, so I'm all done with this vanity. So I'm just touching up the mirrors, like I said, because I did the whole mirror at first. So touching up, I'm going to stand back and look kind of high and low, and usually I'm going to actually turn off the light because I see different things, which right now I can see when I was back by the light switch that I missed a couple spots there, and that looks a lot better. Now the last thing I'm going to do is go down and wipe the cabinet fronts. If it's a home that we regularly maintain, you're going to make sure that the top ridge is free of dust. Where they grab right here is clean, including in the middle, and then the bottom where dust gathers. If it's a deep clean or a first time, you're going to wipe the whole cabinet and face. First thing you want to do is step into the dry garden tub. That's because it's the safest way to do it. She's going to do her high dusting first. In this case, she's using a reusable duster. And we actually find that with a large set of blinds like this, it's going to be more efficient to just use your dry cloth or your Swiffer. Now she's doing the outside of the shower glass first because she doesn't want to step back into a wet tub later to do it, or her already cleaned tub, and make a mess again. So she's going to go ahead and just do that now. She also wiped the windowsill after she picked up the blinds. She's going to wipe around it. All the things that she doesn't want to have to reach to do later. Now she's going to take her hydrogen peroxide shower tub sink cleaner and liberally spray it all over. Notice she's cleaning off the shelf first. She's cleaned the faucets. She's dusting around it. She's going to demonstrate 2 different methods to clean this bathtub. The quick way to go is to use your Doodlebug with a white non-scratch scrub pad. And it has a little pole that is a very short pole. It's used for window cleaning, Doodlebugs, which is the tool that's on the end of it right now. It's called a Doodlebug. It's also used for, you can put the duster head on it if you just need it to do baseboards, but it's very handy, short little pole. She's going to turn on the water. It's absolutely critical. And I probably would have turned on the water before I squirted the peroxide in there. Notice that it's not sticking. Sometimes they take a minute to stick. But once you start scrubbing, the scrub pad will stick. And she's spraying on a little bit more. So the reason I mentioned that it's 2 to 3 ounces of peroxide concentrate mixed with water to refill your bottle is because notice how much she's using. She could run out if she had some large houses. So you're just going to take your concentrated peroxide and make some more. So she's rinsing out the peroxide. She's shaking it real good. And then she realized she forgot to dip it in her disinfectant bucket, so she's doing it again. So that's critical because we don't wash those at the end of each day. We simply dip them in the disinfectant, and the peroxide's already cleaned them. So if they're really dirty, like from a deep clean, you're always going to throw them in the laundry. But in this case, just disinfect them, shake them out, and put them back in your caddy. So at that point, she would normally rinse this bathtub out after maybe just hitting maybe that curve and maybe the bottom of any jets or anything like that. But she's going to also demonstrate a different way you can clean bathrooms or bathtubs. So you can use a magic eraser or your blue sponge. It's just such a large bathtub and not everybody likes to lean. We really want to save your back. And so that's why we've given you the Doodlebug as an option. A regular size tub, it's probably just going to be easier to do it this way, but those big tubs, it's nice. The Doodlebug is also handy for a large walk-in shower to get those walls done in a jiffy. So what you're not seeing demonstrated is using Barkeeper's Friend in a shower for the shower glass or for the bathtub today. It's not normally used unless it's a deep clean where we've already done peroxide cleaner and it just is not working. So that is also another option for a really heavy clean if needed. So here she's got her rinsing cup and she's going to give it a nice rinse. So again, this is a master bathroom. Family bathrooms, children's bathrooms especially, heavily rinse. If you had a large walk-in shower, you could, instead of using your rinsing cup, you could use your bucket. You could dump your bucket out and fill it up with water to be able to dip that rinsing cup in and dump along the shower walls in a very large walk-in. So she's going to go ahead and shine everything up, give it a quick dry the edges. Now this is an acrylic tub. It's made of a plastic. She does not need to dry the inside bottom of the basin. We do dry showers that are tile on the bottom, or if you use Barkeeper's Friend, you always have to rinse extra and you have to dry them out every time. The reason for that is Barkeeper's Friend is slippery and it also looks white when it dries. So it'll dry, it'll look like we ruined the grout, or
It'll not show because it's white plastic, but then when the client turns the water on, they'll have a little bit of slippiness. So now we're moving on to the shower. So in a tile shower, we have multiple tools, but all showers, we always just wipe the top portion above shoulder height. So she's wiping under the bottles. She's moved the squeegee. Sometimes people will have a rack in their shower. You do have to wipe the wall behind it, so kind of pull it forward. The exception is the corner racks. Just leave those because they often fall apart when you try to move them. But you do kind of want to pick up the shampoo bottles and wipe under them. So now that she's done with the top part above her shoulders, she's going to do the bottom part. She's choosing to use a magic eraser in her peroxide cleaner. Liquid cleaner always rinses easier and faster. Don't get your barkeeper's friend unless you absolutely have to. She could also use a blue non-scratch sponge, or she could use her big white non-scratch pad that she used with her doodlebug. So you'll notice that there's grout there, and she's not getting the grout brush out and scrubbing each individual part of the grout. However, if it needed it, she would. In this case, this is a maintenance clean at an Airbnb, and they have used it. They've been checked in for a few weeks, so we definitely need to give every square inch a good scrub, but we don't need to do all the grout because it looks fine. And the magic eraser kind of pushes into the grout. Now she is pouring that along the inside of the track because we want to make sure to always treat the caulking around the sides and the track as well. Make sure that you don't step in it. She was careful to step over where she had sprayed the product. It's critical that you don't get peroxide on your feet and track it around the bathroom. So she's given the track a good scrub inside and out. That lip up in the front of the shower, people often forget, especially down in the corner. It can get dusty, so she's got a fair amount of liquid in there, so she's kind of flooding that dust out of the corner. Now she's going to take her dry cloth and just dry it out. You don't need to flood it with rinsing cup. Just dry it out and it'll come right out. Now she's wiping the track and she's noticing it's not clean enough. So in that case, she's going to get her magic eraser, her grout brush, and go back and do it again. So that magic eraser does a phenomenal job in that track. Some of them also have a gasket under the track on the bottom. So you always want to grab your cloth and go along that as well if it has one. So professional tip is you always wipe the lip in the front, and then I always wipe the floor in the front by hand of the showers because mopping is just not super effective in those corners right up against the shower. I always want crisp and clean edges and corners. So now she's going to fill up her rinsing cup and use that to rinse all the peroxide cleaner off the walls. Like I said, if it's a giant walk-in shower, I dump my disinfectant bucket out. I'll make some more later, and I use it as a giant filling bucket. And I just fill it up, and then I use my rinsing cup and dip it and dump everything out. Now she's showing you another tool. Normally she would probably just have used that magic eraser on the floor of the shower because it's really small, but she's trying to show you some options here. This is a shower brush. It's very large, and it's really meant for tiled showers. When they have a large tile floor, this is extremely effective, especially if it's little 1-inch tiles. It's always most effective to use it with your liquid peroxide cleaner. Does a great job. Barkeeper's Friend is really for the glass mostly, if it's getting hard water stains, or for buildup. But you're going to want to use that only on textured shower bottoms or tile. Only doing it for demonstration purposes on this particular instance. So a lot of times people skip that part she's doing now. She's doing that very bottom couple inches around the shower pan. And that often gets dirty, and people will comment on it that we're missing that piece. Or even the top of that shower pan at the bottom where it meets the walls. Definitely scrub that well and rinse it well. She's just about to wrap up here. She's rinsing really well. If you're using Barkeeper's Friend, you must also wipe the basin of the bottom of the shower. She's drying it because they're glass tiles, so it's going to look nicer. If it was acrylic, she wouldn't be drying it. If you do have a glass shower, just please definitely dry and shine it. So the last thing here is she's using her glass cleaner to do this. This is a little speed cleaning tip. It's not very dirty, so she's just using the glass cleaner and a large Huck towel. The little glass towel that's light green would be okay, but this is a lot. It's just going to do a lot better, a lot faster. She's going to always use her barkeeper's friend in the toilet bowl. If it had a really high water line, you could use the toilet scrubber to push the water down the trap to lower the water line. In this case, it doesn't have a high water line, and she can really get a good scrub with as low as the water is. So she is scrubbing the entire toilet bowl top to bottom, including down in the trap at the bottom, the little hole at the bottom. We want to get all the way down into there. And we do the toilet bowl first so that we're not splashing the already cleaned rim of the toilet as we're doing it. So we're going to do that toilet bowl first and then flush it. She's doing that now. Fold your rag into a square so that you now have 8 clean sides. There's a lot of dust on the top, so you're usually going to have to flip your rag over. In her case, she's found enough dust that she's drying as she goes. We don't normally need to do that, but this could be a house that's been sitting for a while and it just really hasn't been used, so there's no soap, scum, nothing harsh, but she's disinfecting it and removing a good amount of the dust with her wet cloth, but it's just not all coming off, so she's drying it as well. Make sure that even if you're doing a quick clean, that you're making sure those little screws are clean, that you're going around the little feet, pushing your finger into all those little grooves and curves as you go around the toilet. And then this is really important right there. She wiped the inside of the rim as well as the top. Notice that the toilet was the last thing that she did in the bathroom before the floors because it is the dirtiest and it's where we want to throw the cloths into the dirty laundry bag when we're done. She's hand wiping the floor around the toilet, not just the base of the toilet. She's also going to wipe off any plungers, scales, anything that are down there just to keep the dust off. This is critical and is an absolute requirement of working at Sunlifemaids. Please always, always clean the entire floor around the toilet. The person mopping the bathroom should never have to be mopping around the toilet because it's just not going to do a great job. She's also wiping the baseboards as she goes. In this size of a bathroom, we're always going to wipe all the baseboards. In fact, in most bathrooms, we're going to wipe all the baseboards every time. Even if the home is a basic clean client where they're not paying for any baseboards, blinds, all those things to be done, in bathrooms is the exception. We always wipe baseboards. And if you see anything on the wall, you would wipe that as well. Make sure you grab the trash and have a fresh liner. As we finish cleaning the bathroom, make sure that you've cleaned all the baseboards as well as the floor behind the toilet and in all the corners. Some commonly missed things that we find often happen in bathrooms are missed streaks on the mirrors, hairs or fuzzies that have fallen off of your cloth into a sink or tub, cabinet fronts that have been missed, trash cans that have not been emptied, backs of the doors that have not been cleaned, as well as forgetting to put the rugs back down. So take a quick look around your bathroom, make sure that you've staged and everything looks beautiful before you wrap up.